All right, final segment for everybody. I want to tell you about a few sponsors, and we'll wrap up the live show, but continue in Overdrive Live. We're going to play this little 6-minute clip from one of his films where he's challenging the corrupt police to not be corrupt, and then we'll talk more to Candi about some of the things she's witnessed and her whole view on this. I got to have you guys back up for 2-3 hours in studio because with me adding all my stuff, it just runs over here. Before we go back to them, two of the sponsors that made today's show possible are Acola Blue and My Solar Backup. Let me tell you about My Solar Backup first. This is the best unit for the price that we have found anywhere, and it's from our great sponsors, Solutions from Science, that have a lot of products up on Infowars.com that we link to. And this is a great emergency power backup kit, which consists of the Power Source 1800 power plant and high-efficiency solar panel designed to provide endless electricity. It's just a great little unit, the solar panel, the power system that stores it. You can run a lot of things on this, and you can order multiple units if you want even more power. One word, mysolarbackup.com, mysolarbackup.com, or give them a call to get a brochure or to order at 877-327-0365, 877-327-0365, mysolarbackup.com, a great unit. And in closing, with our sponsors is Acola Blue that we have right here in the office, back there in the break room, in the office, grabbing more than 7 gallons a day out of the atmosphere. There's water in the atmosphere. You can't see it except when it's clouds. And then it goes through 5 filters once it does that. So an amazing system, acolablue.com or 866-585-4044, 866-585-4044, ECOLOBLUE.com. It's an atmospheric water generator. You see Willie Nelson pitching his own similar system, but this is really a fantastic system. Again, acolablue.com or big banners up on Infowars.com. Great tasting, pure H2O, exactly the way nature makes it. And speaking of plugs, I want everybody to see these films. You know, I get so busy that I never get to ordering new products, getting them in the shopping cart at Infowars.com with all the other books and films that I've written or films I've made or other books and films we carry, like Kevin Booth's American Drug War that I consulted on. These videos, I've seen one of them. Everybody needs to get these. We're going to be carrying these the next few weeks at Infowars.com, but I want you to go to the website, nevergetbusted.com, and get them today. Get both volumes. He gets death threats over these. This is key information that everybody needs to have. So, again, we'll put it up on screen for the viewers as well, nevergetbusted.com, and we'll play a clip from one of the films coming up in Overdrive. In closing, for the full radio audience that's out there in 2 minutes, other comments? Other points you'd like to make?
I'd like to make the point that in this second video, there's an entire chapter dedicated to Fleur. And secretly, one of the narcotics officers connected to the narcotics officers that we just busted in Odessa, he sold that footage to me out of his evidence room for $1,000. I just released that information on the internet the day before yesterday. In the first film, Traffic Stops 1, the same narcotics officer filmed his dog false alerting and sold that to me for $1,000. He's the same officer, Richard Dixon, that you see in the newspaper articles that claim Barry Cooper made those films for money only. The whole time he was spending the $2,300 that I paid him for footage for these very films.
I want to talk more when we go into Overdrive about how he didn't know he was selling this to you or he didn't know that you were setting him up when we come back, and a lot more. For the AM and FM audience, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 to 3 Central Standard Time. Very thankful for all of you out there. Be sure and support those local affiliates and their local sponsors. For everybody else, you'll want to go one place. My website to listen to the free audio streams or watch us at prisonplanet.tv if you're a member. Rebroadcast doesn't start now because we will continue to be live after this quick 70-second break right here on the GCN Radio Network and prisonplanet.tv.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th.
gentlemen, we just cut our feed. We just cut our feed connection with the GCN network. We're only live now at prisonplanet.tv. I want to flesh this out more. Now there won't be breaks for the next 30 minutes. We'll have plenty of time to talk. For the prisonplanet.tv viewers and folks listening on the streams at Infowars.com. Don't forget the free podcast, folks. Over 120,000 a day now. Subscribe to that. If you want to go subscribe, do that. We hope you will. Let's continue specifically with this latest sting you've been talking about in relation to how are you getting him to sell you videos? I guess this is before you exposed it. And then, later he's claiming that it was just done for money.
No. I might not have explained it well enough. Before Cop Busters was ever invented and we were just doing Never Get Busted films, I needed FLIR footage and I needed footage of a dog false alerting. So I called one of my ex-partners from the Permian Basin Drug Task Force. He's a Yoakum County's DA's narcotics investigator now. And I asked him if he had any of that for my films, and he sold me that footage. I've kept it a secret this entire time. Now fast forward to 4 weeks ago when we set this dummy grow room and put Christmas trees under it instead of marijuana plants. And we triggered the cops to do an illegal raid. He was tied into that raid. And I kept telling the chief of police who's trying to arrest Candi and I now because of this operation, we kept explaining, check for FLIR cameras. Because on the search warrant affidavit, the only reasons they had listed to raid the Cop Busters home, of course they didn't know it was a Cop Busters home, was an anonymous letter, and they made 2 drive-bys on the house. Well, that's not enough probable cause for a judge to sign the warrant. So he got busted as well. So I keep telling them, look, they're using these illegal FLIR cameras. They didn't believe it. So I said, in 3 days, I'll announce the proof, which was Monday. I announced the proof, and I explained that I know they have a FLIR camera because one of your officers sold me the footage for my anti-drug war film. So they drove by our house and FLIR'd it illegally and didn't put that in the warrant. The judge signed the warrant and they kicked our door in, and we had hidden cameras in there that said you're part of a reality show called Cop Busters, and all of us are unarmed. There's nothing illegal taking place. We'll be approaching within 10 minutes, all wearing red T-shirts.
So you had a recording going.
Oh, yeah, hidden cameras.
We played that video earlier. They were just totally freaked out.
In fact, there's a video on YouTube of the entire raid. It's 4 minutes, and you can see the cops walking around the room trying to figure out what's going on.
Tell you what, what's the name of that YouTube? We'll pull that up and play it.
Just go to copbusters.com, go to the second page. There it is right there. The second one.
Second one. We'll play that later.
No, the third one.
Third one down here.
Yeah, the third one. That's the entire raid. And we proved their willingness to lie on an affidavit, and we proved their willingness to do an illegal raid to expose these guys are crooked. And we drew the bridge. Look, this is the same group of guys that just planted the drugs on Yolanda and put her in prison for 8 years. So that was the big payoff of this sting, was to bring national attention to the Yolanda Madden case. By the way, in 60 days, we're going to sting another cop, so be ready for that. We're not going to stop. In fact, we could sting him today, but as well as you know, Alex, these things take time, and timing's important, so we're going to wait a little bit and get him.
Oh, a lot of work goes into this. I mean, I want to go into courage and talk a little bit to Candi about this. I mean, men are designed, so are women, to be able to go out and confront bullies and just kind of shut off the fear and ignore it because it's for the greater good. But for a woman, and again, women have great courage, but just still, myself being death threatened, myself going and covering Bilderberg, an elite meeting, and people calling up and having fake women, call up and say I got them pregnant, or calling up and threatening our family and our children. My wife's a special person. She deals with it. And she just says, I know we're fighting this evil. She just laughs at them when they call. But they're always trying new tricks, or they'll call up and say there's some woman and say Alex gave me a disease, or just all sorts of nasty, dirty tricks. So I've lived some of what you've lived. More from both of you about the types of threats you get, any type of reprisals, and how you so cheerfully have this courage and go through this, Candi.
Well, courage is contagious, and Barry started the courage, so it's I don't know, it doesn't bother me. We're doing the right thing. I know we're doing the right thing, and freedom, that's a big deal, and there's 1.5 million people in
Children.
prison right now.
1.5.
Yeah,
Well, they say that
1.5
it's really 4 million total.
No, we're talking about 1.5 million children
without parents.
Without parents.
Oh my God!
There's 2 million now. Actually, there's 2
Yeah, 2 million.
Which
That's
the
right.
state loves because then they get to CPS the children without due process.
And then that messes them up. We have 4 kids, and so I'm just fighting for them.
Candi,
And the
yeah,
prisoners.
Candi. We work with the same energy that it was one of our kids sitting in prison.
Exactly.
Because we're not really free
or
if
one of our
one
kids
of
in the
our
foster
No, that's the total spirit of liberty. Exactly. So when somebody does something to somebody else, I feel as if it's happening to me.
Right.
When I see those dead children in Gaza. I mean, because I know that that's why they call it a crime against humanity. People that are tuned in know that when you allow this to go on anywhere and at least don't speak up against